Love alone cannot sustain a relationship marred by repeated betrayals and broken promises. True commitment requires trust, honesty, and mutual respect. When one partner continually undermines the foundation of trust, it is essential for the other to prioritize their own well-being and that of their children. This story reminds us that self-respect and the courage to break free from toxic cycles are crucial for finding true happiness and stability. Carla had been with Simon for 15 years, married for 5. Their relationship, once filled with the promise of everlasting love, had turned into a cycle of heartbreak and betrayal. Carla, a dedicated wife and mother, was currently pregnant with their second child, a son. Their daughter, Lily, was the light of Carla's life, a beacon of hope in her increasingly tumultuous marriage. Simon had always been charming, the kind of man who could make anyone feel special, but his charm was a double-edged sword. Despite his assurances of fidelity, he had a penchant for emotional affairs, a betrayal that cut Carla deeply. She tried to rationalize it, telling herself that at least he wasn't physically cheating. But the emotional distance he created left her feeling isolated and unloved. The worst times were during her pregnancies. Doctors' orders and complications meant she couldn't be as physically affectionate with Simon as she wanted to be, and Simon used this as an excuse to seek emotional connections elsewhere. He claimed it was her fault for questioning him, for wanting to understand why he betrayed her. Their arguments spiraled into blame games, with Simon always positioning himself as the victim of Carla's distrust. Carla's heart ached with each new discovery of Simon's infidelity. She wanted to believe his promises to change, to be better, to stop hurting her. Each time she took him back, hoping that this time would be different. But it never was. The most recent affair was the hardest to swallow. It was with a woman Simon had cheated with before, a painful reminder of his past betrayals. One evening, after putting Lily to bed, Carla sat on the porch, her mind racing with the familiar turmoil. The summer breeze did little to calm her nerves as she thought about the future of her family. She loved Simon deeply, but her love was being suffocated by his continuous betrayals. Simon found her there, lost in thought. He approached with a cautious look, knowing that his recent actions had pushed Carla to her breaking point. "Carla," he began softly, "we need to talk." Carla looked up, her eyes tired and filled with unshed tears. "What is there to talk about, Simon? You keep promising you'll change, but you never do." He sat down beside her, reaching for her hand, but she pulled away. "I know I've hurt you, and I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep doing this. I guess I'm scared of losing you." "Scared of losing me?" Carla's voice was incredulous. "You push me away every time you cheat. How do you think that makes me feel?" Simon sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't want to fight, Carla. I want to make this work. For us, for Lily, and for our son." "Then why can't you stop?" Carla's voice cracked. "Why isn't our family enough for you?" Simon didn't have an answer, and the silence between them grew heavy. Finally, Carla spoke again, her voice barely above a whisper. "I can't keep doing this, Simon. I can't keep living in this cycle of hurt." The days passed in a blur. Carla tried to focus on her pregnancy and caring for Lily, but Simon's infidelity was a constant shadow over her. One afternoon, while Lily was at a playdate, Carla decided to confront Simon again. She needed answers, closure, something to help her make sense of the chaos. "Simon, we need to talk. Really talk," she said, standing in the doorway of his study. He looked up from his work, his expression wary. "All right, let's start." Carla took a deep breath, steadying herself. "Do you love me, Simon? Truly love me?" "Of course I do, Carla. You know that. Then why do you keep hurting me? Why do you keep going back to her? Her voice was filled with pain. Simon looked down, unable to meet her gaze. I don't know, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. For what? Marriage, family? Carla's heart ached. If you can't commit to us, then what are we doing here? I want to commit, I do. But every time we fight, every time you question me, I feel like I'm failing. And I run. Carla's tears flowed freely now. I can't keep living like this, Simon. I need to know if you're willing to change, truly change. Because if not, I don't think I can stay. Simon stood up, crossing the room to stand in front of her. He gently wiped away her tears. I want to change, Carla. I want to be the man you deserve. But I need your help. Help? Carla's voice was a mix of hope and skepticism. How can I help you when you're the one breaking us apart? By believing in me. By giving me one last chance. Carla looked into his eyes, searching for sincerity. This is your last chance, Simon. One more betrayal, and we're done. The months that followed were a tentative dance of rebuilding trust. Simon attended therapy, working on his issues, and Carla tried to believe in his promises once more. But the scars of his past actions ran deep, and every time he was late or distant, her anxiety flared. One evening, as Carla was preparing dinner, Simon came home looking troubled. We need to talk, he said, his voice tense. Carla's heart sank. What is it now? I saw her today. She wanted to talk, to apologize. And did you? Carla's voice trembled. I didn't meet her, I walked away. But it made me realize something. What? That I can't keep doing this to you. To us, I need to be honest with you, and with myself. Carla felt a glimmer of hope. So, what does that mean? It means I'm going to keep trying. For you, for Lily, for our son, but I need you to know that it's a process, and I might stumble. Carla nodded, her emotions a tangled mess. I appreciate your honesty, Simon. But remember, this is your last chance. As their son was born, Carla and Simon tried to rebuild their life together. There were moments of joy, but the underlying tension of past betrayals never fully disappeared. Simon's efforts to change were genuine, but the damage was done. Carla found herself constantly on edge, waiting for the next heartbreak. One fateful day, Carla discovered a message on Simon's phone. It was innocent enough, but it was from the same woman. Her world shattered all over again. She confronted Simon, tears streaming down her face. You promised, Simon. You promised this was your last chance. Simon looked devastated. Carla, it's not what you think. She reached out, but I didn't respond. I can't keep living like this. The constant fear, the distrust, it's tearing me apart. Please, Carla, I love you. I don't want to lose you. But Carla had reached her breaking point. I love you too, Simon. But I need to love myself and our children more. With a heavy heart, Carla made the decision to leave. She packed her things, took Lily and their newborn son, and walked out the door. Simon watched them go, his heart breaking, knowing that his actions had led to this. As Carla drove away, she felt a mixture of sorrow and relief. She had loved Simon with everything in her, but she couldn't continue to sacrifice her happiness and well-being. She knew it would be difficult, but she was determined to build a better future for herself and her children, one free from the cycle of hurt and betrayal. In the end, the illusion of forever was shattered, leaving behind the reality that sometimes love isn't enough to overcome the damage done.